Hare Krishna. Welcome to this episode of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Today we'll be starting the 12th chapter, which is the expansions of Advaita Ācārya and Gadadhar Pandit. Basically, the disciplic succession from Advaita Ācārya and Gadadhar Pandit, starting with Advaita Ācārya. So we'll say our Mangalacharan prayers and begin the chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So please share the class with others on the groups or wherever so that others can join in. So today actually is the appearance day of His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some time ago I wanted to do the summary study of this book, Brahmana and Vaishnava, but I have not taken all my notes yet, so that's not going to happen today. So sometime, hopefully soon, I can do that. For now, so today we will continue our regular Chaitanya Charitamrita class, and we have finished the 11th chapter of the Adi Leela, and in this session we will start with the 12th. And let's start with the summary. This is actually always the summary of every chapter is the bhashya or the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which is called Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. That means the flow of nectar, the commentary of the flow of nectar. The nectarian flow commentary, whatever. So that is the name of his commentary on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So let's read that first and then go to the chapter itself. So summary of chapter 12. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a summary of the 12th chapter in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. The 12th chapter describes the followers of Advaita Prabhu, among whom the followers of Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Ācārya, are understood to be the pure followers who received the cream of the philosophy Sri Advaita Ācārya initiated. Other so-called descendants and followers of Advaita Ācārya are not to be recognized. This chapter also includes narrations concerning the son of Advaita Ācārya named Gopal Mishra and Advaita Ācārya's servant named Kamalakant Vishwas. In his early life, Gopal fainted during the cleansing of the Gundicha Mandir at Jagannath Puri and thus became a recipient of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The story of Kamalakant Vishwas concerns his borrowing 300 rupees from Prataprudra Maharaj to clear a debt of Advaita Ācārya's, for which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised him when he came to know of it. Kamalakant Vishwas was then purified by the request of Sri Advaita Ācārya. After describing the descendants of Advaita Ācārya, the chapter concludes by describing the followers of Gadadhar Pandit Goswami. So that's the summary. So chapter 12, text 1. Advaitanghryabjabhringamstan Sara Sarabhritokhilān Hitva Saran Sarabhrito Naumi Chaitanya Jivanan. The followers of Sri Advaita Prabhu were of two kinds. Some were real followers and the others were false. Rejecting the false followers, I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya's real followers, whose life and soul was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very important, nice verse here. Already the first one. Rejecting the false followers. Hitva asaran. Sara means essence. Asara means those who have taken other things than the essence. That means garbage. Or asara also means useless. Useless means those who don't understand the real essence of the whole teachings and they take something else. Sarabhrita, those who are real. Naumi. Hitva asaran sarabhrita naumi. I offer my obeisance. So this is very important here. We have learned in Nectar of Instruction, verse 5. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham Shushrūshaya bhajana vignamananyamanya nindadishunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya nindadishunya hridam ipsita sangalabdhya. So here that means anya nindadi, blasphemy of others, shunya, completely devoid of. So we should serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So today morning in the Bhagavatam class, His Grace Nimanitai Prabhu he gave a very nice lecture on the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.3.16. It's there on our YouTube channel. So in that he quoted Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Now I have to ask him for the exact reference though, where exactly it is. I don't know if it is Harinam Chintamani or maybe somewhere else. I don't know. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur apparently said that criticism is good when it for three reasons: for saving oneself spiritually, for saving the person who has surrendered as a disciple, siksha or diksha, and to save or to protect the world. So criticism is good in the sense that in the beginning, when one is becoming a devotee, then he may have, because the family members may go against his wishes and his friends may kind of reject him. So in order to ply through such trying circumstances to get strength, he will show a practitioner who is serious. He will exhibit a strong sense of renunciation or strong sense of condemnation towards such relatives and such friends and people like that. So that is good in one sense because he has to give up that attachment to them. And because anyway, by Krishna's arrangement, they may be a little bit, antagonistic, whether by force or by affection. Sometimes, relatives may or family members may cry. And then a person who is actually advancing in Krishna consciousness is not very pleased by such behavior of the family members. Although it is understandable that they are just crying out of their material affection because they don't have knowledge. But when one is trying to separate himself, especially out of determination to serve Krishna, we cannot "Oh, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that." He has to surrender to the instructions of the Guru. That is a proper way to do it. Even though family members may cry. Even Ramachandra Bhagavan, when he was being taken by Vishwamitra Muni for Gurukul, for tutelage, his mothers were crying, and even Dasharath Maharaj was crying. But no, he had to go. So of course, Dasharath Maharaj and the queens, they understood that that is the duty. But nowadays, parents don't understand. Even though they have attachment, they understood Dasharath Maharaj that yes, he has to go to Gurukul. This is the duty. Yes, we have a lot of attachment. Of course, transcendentally speaking, that was a transcendental relationship with Lord Ramachandra. But of course, lessons for us as well. But then, especially when the parents do not understand very well and they're out of attachment, they do things which are actually antagonistic to the child's or the devotee's devotional service, and they bring forth some kind of challenges. So at that time, he develops a strong sense of renunciation, and then therefore, oh, my father is he's not very this thing, he's very how to say antagonistic, he's not a devotee, this that. He'll have some strong feelings. Although later on in his devotional life, he may become a little bit softened towards them. Once they release, once they relieve him, stop the nagging, and then they tend to accept. Okay, you know what? He has gone into this, whether we like it or not. He's not going to come back. So there's no way doing our drama and everything. So at that time, after some time when things have cooled off a little bit, that strong criticism will subside. Then he will have a little bit of a compassionate attitude towards them. At the same time, not compromising his principles for them. So that is criticism to protect oneself from the affection of Maya. Maya will pull us back. Prakshepatmika, Avaranatmika. Two Shaktis Maya has. Prakshepatmika means throw away. When we want to achieve shelter of Krishna, when we try to become his devotee, she will throw us away from devotional service in the form of some material attraction or some woman or some family members pulling us back by ropes of affection. So there's a tug of war, Maya and Krishna. So we are, held. We are being pulled either way. If we hold on to Krishna's rope, yes, we will go here. Krishna is, of course, much more stronger than Maya. So Maya will try to pull. So to protect oneself, one has to stick with the Guru's orders and the teachings, and then he will become strong, and he will, go on Krishna's side. So that is to protect oneself, and then the other is to criticize to protect the the person who has taken sincere shelter of the devotees. So, so that if we criticize, this is to be done by a person who is in the Shiksha Guru platform. Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru can do it. And Shiksha Guru means anybody who can correct someone without being envious. So even though the spiritual master may criticize the disciple, it is not out of envy, it is not out of a vengeance that he does it. He does it because he wants to just see the devotee advance. So for that, he may chastise. And that is also good. That is to protect the person who has surrendered. And the third situation in which criticism is acceptable is to protect the world. In the sense that if somebody is a cheater and he is cheating in the name of religion, in the name of God, or in any way cheating, so a pure devotee, he will actually go out to criticize all these people so that to point out what is actually the right path and what is wrong with the path that these cheaters are being, what these cheaters are proposing. So, in order to protect the world from being misled, but not out of a vengeance for that person or for that thing, is to protect. So, just like Kshatriya, he has to employ weapons, not because he wants to kill someone, to gratify his senses or to, you know, just to for self-aggrandizement. Oh, he's better king than me, or he's have more kingdom, more land. I will kill him. Not that reason. To protect Kshatriyo hi praja rakshan. Kshatriyo hi prajarakshan shastrapani pradandayan nirjitya parasainyadi kshitim dharmena palayet. This is from the Parashar Dharma Shastra, Parashar Smriti 1.61. This is in the Bhagavad Gita 232 purport. See, the Kshatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus, with religious principles, he should rule over the world. So, a Kshatriya will actually apply physical violence, whereas a Guru, he will apply criticism to show what is the right path. कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः 417. We have to know what is correct action, what is wrong action, and what is wrong with the wrong action. If we say, just it's not enough to just say that, oh, this is wrong, we should not do it. Why we should not do this? So that reasoning has to be there. And if somebody is doing this, criticize that and show why there's a problem. Just to protect the people who are interested to be on the right path. So this is an important point. So therefore, in today's verse, one second. Yeah. Hitva asaran sarabhrito naumi chaitanya jivanan. Very important. So Advaita Ācārya had followers who, one of them are actual followers, one of them are false followers. They claim to be followers, but they're not. So everywhere we have this thing. Even Vedic principles, it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita 9.19.145. Among the followers of the Vedic principles, half only give lip service. So that is there. Among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. Such people do not care for the regulative principles. So, although they're counted among kind of the followers of Vedic principles, they're following only in name. At least they are little bit better than those who reject the Vedic principles, but they are hardly any different from them. So they only commit lip service. They don't do anything about it. They actually don't follow. They are not real followers. So in spiritual parampara also, now Advaita Ācārya's followers also there are two. So apparently from the summary just we have seen, Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Ācārya, the followers under him, they are proper followers, others are not. So next verse. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय जय महाप्रभु श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य जय जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत धन्य. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu, all of them are glorious. Shri Chaitanya Marataror Dvitiya Skandharupinah Srimad Advaita Chandrasya Shakha Rupan Ganan Numaha. Again a Sanskrit verse here, the third one. I offer my respectful obeisances under the all-glorious Advaita Prabhu, who forms the second branch of the eternal Chaitanya tree, and to his followers who form his sub-branches. So one branch is Nityananda Prabhu, one branch is Advaita Prabhu, big branches of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so Advaita is the second branch. वृक्षेर द्वितीय स्कंध आचार्य गोसाई तार जत शाखा होइल तार लेखनाय. Sri Advaita Prabhu was the second big branch of the tree. There are many sub branches, but it is impossible to mention them all. Chaitanya Malir Kripa Jalera Sechane Shei Jale Pushta Skandha Bade Dine Dine. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also the gardener, and as he poured the water of his mercy on the tree, all the branches and sub branches grew day after day. সেই স্কন্ধে যত প্রেম ফল উপজিল, সেই কৃষ্ণ প্রেম ফলে জগত ভরিল. The fruits of love of Godhead that grew on those branches of the Chaitanya tree were so large that they flooded the entire world with love of Krishna. সেই জলস্কন্ধে করে শাখাতে সঞ্চার, ফলে ফুলে বাড়ে শাখা হইল বিস্তার. As the trunk and branches were watered, the branches and sub-branches spread lavishly, and the tree grew full with fruits and flowers. Now, these were starting with 8, number 8, are very important verses. The 5 verses 8 through 12. We have quoted this in regards to the Ritvik position. The Ritvik system that Srila Prabhupada set up. प्रथमेत एकमत आचार्येर गण, पाछे दुई मत हईल दैवेर कारण. At first, all the followers of Advaita Ācārya shared a single opinion, but later they followed 2 different opinions as ordained by Providence. Let's read this purport. It's a very important, very important purport, and something that Nimanita Prabhu shared in today morning's class as well. So we will try to repeat that as well. So the purport here, the words Daiver Karan indicate that by dint of providence or by God's will, the followers of Advaita Ācārya divided into 2 parties. So why would God actually will that there should be 2 parties? Now we will explain that in a little bit, but let's read the whole purport first. So by dint of providence or by God's will, the followers of Advaita Ācārya divided into 2 parties. Such disagreement among the disciples of one Ācārya is also found among the members of the Gaudiya Math. In the beginning, during the presence of Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ācārya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, all the disciples worked in agreement, but just after his disappearance, they disagreed. One party strictly followed the instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but another group created their own concoction about executing his desires. Actually, the party that strictly followed is only Prabhupada, one-man party. So, anyway, so the other group, they created their own concoction about executing his desires. So they are also claiming to execute his desires only, but they have their own concoction about how to execute his desires. Now, how can that happen? If the desire is clear, if the desire is expressed, if the desire of the Ācārya is expressed clearly, then how is it possible that people can have different opinions? So the opinions arise from the opinion that coincides or is the same as the spiritual masters, that is the pure follower. But the person who has a different opinion, he has a contamination of his own sense gratification involved in that. Because if it is just the order of the spiritual master, there should be no difference. But there is some other consideration, which is, they want to follow the instructions of the Guru, at the same time have their own motivation fulfilled as well. That's when the difference happens. So Prabhupada mentions in one of his poems, one of his songs, I think in the Viraha Ashtashtakam, something like that, which is an offering to his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And in that he says there are 4 kinds of people, 4 kinds of disciples. And they can be a mixture of, a disciple can be a mixture of having 2 or 3 of these qualities. Okay, let's see the 4. Guru Bhogi, Guru Tyagi, Guru Drohi, and Guru Sevi. four kinds of disciples. One is Guru Bhogi. Guru Bhogi means he wants to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. So he's not interested in actually serving the spiritual master. He wants to enjoy the property of the spiritual master. Use his devotional life or devotional position to enjoy rather than actually make advancement and preach and carry forward the mission of his spiritual master. He doesn't have that attitude. So that is Guru Bhogi. Then Guru Tyagi. Some people, they give up the order of the spiritual master. Actually, Guru Bhogi is also Guru Tyagi in that way. But Guru Tyagi particularly means one who gives up the Guru. He's Guru Tyagi. And he gives up the Guru or the Guru's instruction. Sometimes they claim to follow, but actually they don't follow. So, Guru Tyagi. Guru Drohi. Actually, Drohi is the one who is the cunning fellow. Who expresses an interest in serving the Guru, but actually he has no interest in serving the Guru. He has his own thing to do. And he uses the Guru for his own, tries to use the Guru. Nobody can use the Guru actually. But he tries to use the Guru for his own thing. And he is a traitor to his Guru. He does, instead of serving the movement, he actually harms the movement. Guru Drohi, a traitor to the Guru. So one who is an enjoyer, one who renounces the order of the Guru, one who is a traitor to the Guru, and finally Guru Sevi, who is the actual servitor of his Guru, who is a sincere servitor. So these four classes of disciples are there. Now, here we will see, now we will read on with the purport and we will try to understand this. You see, one party strictly followed the instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but another group created their own concoction about executing his desires. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at the time of his departure, requested all his disciples to form a governing body and conduct missionary activities cooperatively. He did not instruct a particular man to become the next Ācārya, but just after his passing away, his leading secretaries made plans without authority to occupy the post of Ācārya, and they split into two factions over who the next Ācārya would be. Consequently, both factions were asara or useless. Hitva asaran. Because they had no authority, having disobeyed the order of the spiritual master. Despite the spiritual master's order to form a governing body and execute the missionary activities of the Gaudiya Math, the two unauthorized factions began litigation that is still going on after 40 years with no decision. And this is a replica of what happened in ISKCON as well. Now also there is litigation between ISKCON Bombay and ISKCON Bangalore, still going on litigation. So, anyway, so there are two. One is the real follower, one is the fake followers or false followers. And among the false followers, there was a faction, there was a split. And actually, it will split. It will split into not just two, it will split into multiple factions like that. Because everybody will have their own concoction. If you can concoct this, why I cannot concoct this? No, I will also concoct this. So, okay, I will have my own group. Like that, everybody will have their own groups. And this is Daivar Karan. This is by the will of the Lord. And we will explain that in a bit. But you see, the two unauthorized factions began litigation. So, they're fighting. So, among the false followers, there was a split. We are talking about Gaudiya Math, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's institution. Now, this has nothing to do with the real followers. False followers are fighting among themselves. Therefore, we do not belong to any faction. But because the two parties busy dividing the material assets of the Gaudiya Math institution stopped the preaching work, we took up the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivinod Thakur to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world under the protection of all the predecessor Acharyas, and we find that our humble attempt has been successful. Very important point here. In his song to his spiritual master, um, he no, is it his song or one of his purports or somewhere? Prabhupada mentions this. No, I think it's one of the purports of Chaitanya Charitamrita, if I'm not wrong. So there he mentions that my god brothers, he says, Prabhupada says, my god brothers wanted those, opulent temples of my Guru Maharaj, and my Guru Maharaj, being kind towards them, gave them those temples, all that opulence, the material assets of the Gaudiya Math institution, all the assets, the buildings, the land, all that, money and everything. So they were basically riding on the reputation of the Gaudiya Math, which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had established. And they got all that. But Prabhupada says, my Guru Maharaj blessed me with the power to preach, which is the real opulence. The entire assets that, Prabhupada was bereft of when he kind of was doing his own thing, because none of his god brothers wanted to really, participate in the real preaching mission. So he took up that. And when he took up that, he did not have any of the opulence of the temples or nothing. When he went to America, he was begging that Sumati Morarji, that steamship company owner, to give him a free passage to America. Now, Gaudiya Math had so many branches, they had money, they had everything. If they really wanted, they could have sponsored a flight ticket for Prabhupada to America. Can't they do? I mean, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur paid for the expenses of the three devotees, three sannyasis he sent to London. For 3 years, he maintained them. Their lodging, their, travel, whatever it is. He maintained them. And then they were not successful, and he brought them back. So, I mean, Gaudiya Math had the assets. I mean, if all of the temples pooled together, little by little, they could have raised the funds for Prabhupada to go to America, but they did not. He went on a free passage on a freighter ship. Why? He is conducting the greatest service of preaching the mission across the ocean in the Western countries, which was the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And for that, he should have been given all facilities, but no. And even after he achieved some success there, and he introduced his god brothers, please come and let's participate. He wanted to help them. Okay, come back to the preaching mission, but none of them were interested. I saw the other day one conversation of Prabhupada and Sridhar Maharaj. I think one of the personal servants of Prabhupada, he said to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada conveyed it to Sridhar Maharaj. Because personal servant, he used to massage Prabhupada. So Prabhupada maintained a cordial relation with his god brother Sridhar Maharaj, but although Sridhar Maharaj was not completely, on board with the real mission, he was actually, he himself proclaimed that I am a breaker of a movement, not a maker of a movement. He broke Gaudiya Math, and later on he broke the ISKCON as well. He is the one who introduced this principle that, okay, we should have a guru, living guru. So in Gaudiya Math he did that, in ISKCON also he did that to the ISKCON devotees. So anyway, but Prabhupada wanted to somehow encourage him and get him participated in the real movement. So Prabhupada said to Sridhar Maharaj that my servant told me that he would just like he massages me, he does very nice massage, and my body feels energized for the whole day. So he can do the same for you, provided you come to America, Los Angeles, or I think Los Angeles. If you come to America, he is ready to do it for you also. Then Sridhar Maharaj, of course, it was on a lighter note. He will do for you, just like a friend. Prabhupada was saying to him. Then, and of course, the servant meant it. But then Sridhar Maharaj says, not this life, maybe next life. You see? I mean, he was not serious about it. He said, okay, let me actually come. Let me help you with the preaching. Not for the massage, but I mean for the preaching. You know, yeah, let me come and see. It'll be nice to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. You're doing a great job. I want to come and see. But he said, oh no, not this time. Maybe not this life. Maybe next life. That means what? He's not serious about the whole thing. So this was the state of affairs, and Prabhupada just left. So he had no so-called material assets, no funds, no nothing. But Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj blessed my god brothers with all those assets, and he blessed me with the power to preach. So this is the difference. And we can see phalena parchete. We can see the quality of the tree by the fruits it produces. So if the fruits are good, then the tree is good. So you can see Prabhupada, he expanded the entire, all the assets. He had much more assets than the whole Gaudiya Math combined. So that is the power of the real blessings of the Guru. Yeah, I think it's in the 5:18:22, if I'm not wrong, Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm not sure actually. We've actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master but wants only to serve him. So this is a very important verse actually, where Lakshmi says, that I actually don't bless any materialist, because they do always Lakshmi, Ganesh, they will worship like this to get some wealth. But actually, that wealth of the materialist is not Lakshmi's benediction, it is Durga's benediction. Lakshmi said here, she says, you see, Mat praptaye jesha surasuradayas tapyanta ugram tapa aindriye dhiyaham rite bhavat pada parayanan namam vindantyaham tvadhridayaya tojita. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord. So Lakshmi is saying to Narayan, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. So in this verse, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist becomes very opulent in the eyes of another materialist, such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra: Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Rupavati. Here they put Rupapati Bhajam Dehi. No, but actually it's Rupavati Bharyam Dehi. No, what they're writing. Oh, worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, and a good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits, but since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukha, illusory happiness. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimodhan, 7943 Bhagavatam. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Vimudhas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj achieved extraordinary material opulences, but such opulences were not Maya Sukha. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who resides in the heart of Narayana. The material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to goddess Durga are temporary. As described in Bhagavad Gita, Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. This is called Guru Bhogi. And the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. That is Prabhupada. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point. Although Ravana tried to abduct the goddess of fortune Sita Devi from the custody of Lord Ramachandra, he could not possibly do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not the original Sita Devi, but an expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravana and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi, Srishti Sthiti Pralaya, Sadhana Shakti Rekha. And that verse is there in the Kurma Puran. This is not, actually many people do not know because Ramayana does not explicitly state this, that Ravana actually did not abduct the real Sita. So, सीतायाराधितो वह्निश्छाया सीताम् अजीजनत् तां जहार दशग्रीवः सीता वह्निपुरं गता परीक्षासमये वह्निं छाया सीता विवेश सा वह्निः सीतां समानीय तत्पुरस्तादनीनयत्. CC Madhya 9.211 and 212. So these two verses are taken from the Kurma Puran. When he was petitioned by Mother Sita, the fire god Agni brought forth an illusory form of Sita, and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped the false Sita. So you know the story where Sita Devi was in the ashram alone, and Ram and Lakshman were lured by the deer, the magical deer, who is Maricha, the demon. Now, when Ravana came, then Sadhu, he came in the form of a guise of a sadhu, and then Sita, she wanted to give some fruits, whatever she could serve sadhu. So she went inside. Now she brought the fruits out to serve the sadhu, and then when she was giving, then he abducted her. But actually, what happened was when she went inside, she could recognize that this was not a sadhu. So she petitioned Agni, the fire god. So, and then quickly inside, without Ravana's knowledge, changed. So what happened? Agni brought forth an illusory form of Sita, and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped the false Sita. Now, the original Sita then went to the abode of the fire god. So she went to the planet of the fire god, Agni Dev. When Lord Ramachandra tested the body of Sita, it was the false illusory Sita that entered the fire. At that time, the fire god brought the original Sita from his abode and delivered her to Lord Ramachandra. So we all know the Agni Pariksha. When he won the war, Ramachandra, he killed Ravana and everything. But then that time Sita was to come and join back with him. But Ramachandra was cold. He was cold. He was not. He did not show any emotion that, oh, Sita, how are you? This no. He was just like expressionless, without any expression. And she said, and then he said, I want to test whether she is pure. I want her to walk through the fire, and if she is really pure, that she never even in thought, not even for a millisecond, nanosecond, she thought of any other man except me, then she will pass through the fire without any injury. And if that is the case, then I will accept her. Now, of course, he knows that Sita is pure, but he wanted to make sure for the entire world that, I'm not taking a woman who is an unchaste woman. So, under extreme circumstances, she was abducted and all that. That is the external story, of course, but there is another internal story now. This Kurma Puran has revealed that actually Ravana abducted the Maya Sita. Real Sita, nobody can touch except Narayan. Nobody can touch. And when Agni Pariksha happened, the Maya Sita, who was under the custody of Ravan until then, she went into the fire, and then the real Sita actually came out. All this happened so seamlessly, by the perfect arrangement of the Lord. His servants, Agnidev, he did all that arrangement for him, that nobody could see all this unless it is revealed like this in the scripture. So anyway, so these things are there. So that means when Ravana wanted to enjoy Sita, then that Sita, although seemingly a replica of the real Sita, but actually she's not. She's not the real Sita. So similarly, a devotee who is actually serving the Lord, like Prabhupada, he had so much opulence under his command. And a businessman also may have a lot of wealth and followers under his command, but they're of a totally different quality. You know, Ramachandra's army, the Vanaras, were not paid by Ramachandra. Ravana's army was paid by Ravana. Similarly, Prabhupada's disciples were not paid by him. An ordinary businessman would have to pay his staff, and all the followers, all the thousands of so-called employees that he might have are all paid employees. They have no real feeling for that person. Whereas the disciples, complete affection out of transcendental affection they have. So it's totally different quality. And not only that, this opulence is to serve Krishna, and therefore there is real opulence. And it's that verse, right? Srimad Bhagavatam Chatushloki Bhagavatam. There is this verse 2934. Ritirtham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. What is that? Oh Brahma. This is Lord Vishnu is saying. Oh Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. You see, this is very important. So when it is without relation to Krishna, that it has no reality. When it is in relation with Krishna, then it is real. So the opulences of a pure devotee are real because it is in relationship with Krishna and his service. Whereas the other, they have no relation with Krishna. They actually enhance the forgetfulness of Krishna. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam tayapahrita chetasam apahrita chetasam vyavasayatmaka buddhi samadho navidhiyate. Navidhiyate. They cannot focus on spiritual life. And what is samadhi? Samyag adhiyatesmin atmatattva yathatmyam. This is from the Nirukti dictionary or Vishwakosha dictionary. It's mentioned in the 244 purport, Bhagavad Gita. So when one has this Bhoga Ishwarya and he cannot focus his mind, that means there is Maya. That is not real wealth or real this thing. So we can never compare the wealth of a devotee and the wealth of a materialist. Even if a devotee appears completely poor, Tvam akinchana gocharam, namo akinchana vittaya. Krishna is the property of such a seemingly poor devotee. So Krishna is the owner of everything. And devotee is the owner of Krishna. Then why is he so poor then? No, he's actually not poor. The entire universe's opulence is under his command. But he's not interested. He's not interested. That is the meaning of akinchana. The entire material and spiritual worlds are under the command of a devotee. Because Krishna is under his command. And Krishna owns everything. Suppose you have somebody who is the richest man and he is ready to do anything for you. That means what? Even though you may not have the money, that rich man is there. Whenever you ask, he will, provide. So you have basically entire command over his opulences. Similarly, pure devotee also has, but he never commands. He never demands Krishna, any opulence of Krishna. Never. Like Sudama. Krishna may give out of his own obligation, but a devotee will never ask. So, going back all the way again. So this is the thing. Our humble attempt has been successful. We followed the principles especially explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita verse beginning Vyavasayatmaka Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana. So this is 2.41 of Bhagavad Gita. To that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written a commentary, and in that he quotes, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado Yasya Prasadan Nagati Kutopi. And he also says that This Vyavasayatmaka Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana, this one pointed attention, means a disciple should have a single pointed attention on the order of the spiritual master. That's all. That's all he has to do. He has to fulfill the order of the spiritual master, nothing else. Every other consideration should be given up. So Prabhupada mentions that actually this is the explanation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur which propelled him to go to America. Of course, he had the blessings of Rupa Goswami and his own spiritual master and everybody. But he said this particular verse, this particular explanation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that Ekeha Kurunandana, that single pointed attention on the order of the spiritual master, that is the life and soul of the disciple. And just like Arjuna, why he became the greatest archer? Because when Dronacharya was teaching archery, he put a wooden bird on a tree branch. And the test, because he taught some archery and all that to all his disciples. Then he wanted to test them, because you have to test how good you are. So he wanted to test them. So he put a wooden bird on a branch of a tree, and then he asked each of them to take aim. So yeah, he was asking each one of them, what do you see when when they were like ready to shoot? He asked them, don't shoot. What do you see? They said, okay, I see the bird, I see the branch, I see the tree, I see another bird moving there. I see he is walking there. So many things. Everybody was saying different things. So when Arjuna's chance came, he also drew the arrow, and then he asked, what do you see? Arjuna said, I see only the eye of the bird and nothing else. Then he said, okay, shoot. He shot the arrow, it pierced the eye. And that's when he knew, oh, he's my favorite disciple. So he's going to become the greatest archer in the world. So he knew at that point. So that is the kind of Ekeha Kurunandana we must have. Nothing else in the peripheral vision, nothing. Just the one point. Because if we have peripheral vision and then we will consider many things. No, just one thing. That's it, go for it. Especially when it is with Krishna consciousness, that kind of single pointed attention should be there in executing the order of the spiritual master. Of course, in different parts of our life or different times of our life, the order may change. For example, in the beginning, as we become more and more advanced, then more and more responsible services come our way. So those services may change, but the overarching principle should be the exact same thing. And of course, even in the services also, there is unlimited guidance from the spiritual master. As long as a disciple reads Prabhupada's books and keeps in the company of devotees and has a good serving attitude and humble, then he will get all guidance needed from all directions on how to perform such service. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita verse beginning Vyavasayatmaka Buddhire Keha Kurunandana, according to this instruction of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, it is the duty of a disciple to follow strictly the orders of his spiritual master. The secret of success in advancement in spiritual life is the firm faith of the disciple in the orders of his spiritual master. If I just carry out this order, everything else will. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kohe Sudrida Nischay. Krishna Karma Kailo Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. What is Shraddha? What is faith? Shraddha Shabde. (2262) Madhya. Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Now, of course, this also means that we don't have to separately serve anybody else or serve our family or this and that. 11.5.41 verse is there. But apart from that also, even in the service, in the matter of such service, now for example, Prabhupada wanted to preach, wanted to carry out the order, preach in the Western countries. Now, there are many things to consider. Now, how will I stay? Okay, I got a 1 month visa. Okay, but after 1 month, what will happen? I should secure something. What should I do? But these are all subsidiary activities which are supporting activities to the main activity, which is preaching. So now the support did not seem to be there externally. If you materially calculate, yes, Prabhupada, at least spoke to the, steamship company, that Sumati Morarji, and then she gave a free pass finally after a lot of, you know, uh, chasing her. She gave. And then, his friend had a son in America. He married, that woman, Sally, and he was staying in America. So he asked his friend, can your son, sponsor a visa for me? So he actually did not expect that to even work out. But that friend he took, actually, it's not a real friend, like acquaintance, not really such a close friend. So he just said, can your son maybe, do this thing? But that man took it very seriously, and he asked his son to, do that. And his son, he made sure his son did it. Although son had no real interest in Prabhupada or nothing like that really. But out of respect, okay, something, he did it. So he did it, and then that man, he came to Prabhupada and said, I've done it. Oh, Prabhupada was very, wow, this is very good. Then, he got the passage, he got the visa, and then he went with a 1 month visa. 7 rupees, 40 rupees in his pocket. 69 years of age. 2 heart attacks on board. 38 days journey. And at the end, when he goes there's no friend, nothing. Okay, he can stay in that man's house, but, he's not real friend. Like, he doesn't even know him. It's the first time he's going to see him. So, how is it going to work? How the movement is going to be done? There's nothing. There's no support. So all subsidiary activities will be done when we focus on the main service. So Prabhupada focused on, okay, let me just go and, depend on my spiritual master. And the spiritual master blessed him with everything. We can see how Prabhupada became so successful. Now there is Shraddha. Even though it is complete unknown, he leaped into the unknown, knowing that it is not real unknown. It is Krishna has a plan. That verse we saw, that dust storm, the devotee is confident that Krishna is there. That verse? I'll go back to that. Antya 1.188. Very beautiful verse. Very, very beautiful. Very metaphorical. Beautiful by Rupa Goswami. In fact, Ramananda Rai was so much glorifying Rupa Goswami for his uncommon and like supreme poetic skills of Rupa Goswami. So this is from the Lalita Madhava drama that Rupa Goswami wrote. हरिमुद्दशते रजोभरः पुरतः संगमयत्यमुं तमः व्रजवामदृशां न पद्धतिः प्रकटा सर्वदृशः श्रुतेरपि. This is the verse he composed. The dust from cows and calves on the road creates a kind of darkness, indicating that Krishna is returning home from the pasture grounds. Also, the darkness of evening provokes the gopis to meet Krishna. Thus, the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis are covered by a kind of transcendental darkness and are therefore impossible for ordinary scholars of the Vedas to see. Yeah. You see, Vajrakishore Prabhu is saying, by material calculation, Srila Prabhupada's endeavor was a perfect recipe for failure. It is. It was. For materially, it was a perfect recipe for failure. And Duryodhan also thought the same thing. Okay, let me go to the Duryodhan verse and come back here. You see, Duryodhan said this in the first chapter. He was materially calculating both the armies. He says, Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam paryaptam tvidametesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. He says, our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. So, we have immeasurable strength, they have just very limited strength, so we will win. So, in this way, he calculated everything. And actually, yes, they only had 7 Akshauhinis, and they had 11 Akshauhinis, Kauravas. Pandavas only 7. So, they were on the losing side in terms of numbers, in terms of calculations. Same with Ramachandra's army against Ravana's army. Ramachandra's army had innumerable monkeys, 10 to the power of 60, 66, or sometimes it says 72. I mean, that many, 1 0 0 0 0 66 zeros. 1 million is only 6 zeros. 66 zeros. That many monkeys he had. But then Ravana had, he did not have that many soldiers, but then the kind of weaponry that Ravana had, monkeys cannot match. I mean, he defeated demigods. Demigods had armies that is innumerable. You cannot even imagine. If you read the description in the Bhagavatam, the war between Indra and Bali Maharaj, you just see the numbers. Ramayana and Mahabharat will appear like nothing. That big numbers. You see, you go to the 8th canto and see the numbers of the soldiers who are fighting for either side. It's just unimaginable proportions. And, um, Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill. But in that pastime of the war, the Lord Vishnu comes and with his left hand lifts the entire Meru mountain, which is 100,000 yojanas high. He lifted it like this with his left hand. you know. So anyway, I mean, it's just vast. I can't even imagine the kind of numbers. But Ravana defeated all of them. I mean, the demigods. What to speak of monkey? What is the point in monkeys? For him, it's nothing. But they defeated. So material calculations, that's why spiritual and material strength, that's the difference. That is stated in the 9, 10, 20 of that verse. Anyway, let's come back to this darkness. Thus, the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis are covered by a kind of transcendental darkness and are therefore impossible for ordinary scholars of the Vedas to see. Let's read the translation from the beginning again. The dust from cows and calves on the road creates a kind of darkness, indicating that Krishna is returning home from the pasture. Also, the darkness of evening provokes the gopis to meet Krishna. Thus, the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis are covered by transcendental darkness and are therefore impossible for ordinary scholars of the Vedas to see. So, verse from Lalita Madhav 1.23 is spoken by Paurnamasi in a conversation with Gargi. Now, see, let's read the purport, short purport. Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Thus, he advised Arjuna to rise above the modes of material nature, for the entire Vedic system is filled with descriptions involving Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. People are generally covered by the quality of Rajogun and are therefore unable to understand the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis of Vraja. Moreover, the quality of Tamogun further disturbs their understanding. In Vrindavan, however, although Krishna is covered by the hazy darkness of the dust, the gopis can nevertheless understand that within the dust storm is Krishna. Because they are his topmost devotees, they can perceive his hand in everything. Thus, even in the dark or in a hazy storm of dust, devotees can understand what Krishna is doing. The purport of this verse is that under no circumstances is Krishna ever lost to the vision of exalted devotees like the gopis. How deep philosophy is there in just Krishna returning from his pasture grounds. Look at Rupa Goswami, look at that vision of a pure devotee, how deep they consider each and everything. And it's not just the consider, it is the knowledge that is there. The pure devotees, by expressing themselves in these verses, reveal to us these transcendental understandings. So Prabhupada, as he was going into this unknown, he was leaping into the unknown. It was complete darkness. I mean, there was no hope. Prabhupada said, I'm at the fag end of my life many times. And he went into this unknown. That is Shraddha. They know that in that, they know that within that storm is Krishna. And Krishna did everything. Everything after that. So this is Shraddha. Shraddha, if everything is there, where is Shraddha? If everything is laid out, red carpet, everything big, receiving party with trumpets and gunshots, what is it? Gun salute. Everything, like royal. That's not real Shraddha. I mean, there's no Shraddha required there, Yeah, there is some Shraddha. Okay, I will land there, We never know what can happen. So that is some kind of Shraddha. But it's not real sacrifice or not real challenge. Shraddha really means when Materially, it looks completely, bleak. But having full faith in Krishna for the sake of fulfilling the order of the spiritual master, not anything else. Oh, I want to open a business in America. I have 40 rupees in my pocket. You know what? Um, can you give me a free ticket? Okay, you can give me. Okay, can your friend, can your son sponsor visa? Okay, okay, I'm gonna leap into the unknown. Krishna, please protect. I'm going to jump into the unknown. Krishna will make sure you jump and fall into the sea and Atlantic, die there. That is so we cannot ask Krishna for fulfilling our own materialistic propensities. Uh, of course, sometimes Krishna may give, but that's not the real blessing of Krishna. Uh, just like Durga, Lakshmi and Durga, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave material things. So Krishna also sometimes, to increase the faith of that worshipper, gives maybe may give some material thing, but that is not the real blessing. Real blessing is when first of all, the person, our desire should be pure, sincere. Today morning also Nimanita Prabhu was telling in the class that there are two things necessary for a success of a disciple. First thing, his desire should be sincere in order to advance. He should be sincere in his own advancement. Sincere means he should be willing to do everything that is required for his own advancement. And then he should also go to the right person to surrender, the, the right guru. So both should be there. Even if he goes to the right guru, but if his desire is not sincere, he will not become successful. Even if his desire is sincere, of course, if his desire is sincere, Krishna will guide him to the proper guru. But if his desire is not sincere, then so our desire should be the main thing, and of course, the right person. If we have full faith but in a wrong person, there is no success. If we have the right person, guru, but our desire is not sincere, also not, you not good. We cannot attain success. So both must be there. Shraddha. The secret of success in advancement in spiritual life is the firm faith of the disciple in the orders of his spiritual master. The Vedas confirm this. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathitha hyartha prakashante mahatmanah. To one who has staunch faith in the words of the spiritual master and the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the secret of success in Vedic knowledge is revealed. The Krishna consciousness movement is being propagated according to this principle, and therefore our preaching work is going on successfully in spite of the many impediments offered by antagonistic demons, because we are getting positive help from our previous Ācāryas. One must judge every action by its result. The members of the self-appointed Ācārya's party who occupied the property of the Gaudiya Mutt are satisfied, but they could make no progress in preaching. You see? Therefore, by the result of their actions, one should know that they are asara or useless. Whereas the success of the ISKCON party, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which strictly follows Guru and Gauranga, is increasing daily all over the world. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to print as many books as possible and distribute them all over the world. We have tried our best in this connection and we are getting results beyond our expectations. So, this is very important, no? Very important instructions. What is the time? Okay, we still have time. केहो तो आचार्य आज्ञाए केहो तो स्वतंत्र स्वमत कल्पना करे दैव परतंत्र. Oh yeah, we have not touched upon this. Daiver Karan. Now, why does the Lord will that there should be many factions? By dint of providence. So what is this? So, ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. As we surrender, Krishna rewards accordingly. And very nicely, Nimayata Prabhu explained today morning as well. that there are at least 81 types of impure bhakti. I think we've read this in the Harinam Chintamani as well, if I'm not wrong. So there are the 9 types of devotional service, and then there are 3 modes. So each of those devotional service can be done in 3 modes. So there are 27 types. Uh, Pure devotional service is above the 3 modes, but within the 3 modes there is devotional service, and each of those 9 times 327, and then they mix with again another 3 modes again, because there is another again layer of mixture. So in this way, 27 times 381. So 81 types of impure devotional service, and each have, like Nimanita Prabhu also gave the an example of such a impure devotional service. For example, in the 9 forms of devotional service, kirtanam is one of the um, items, right? So now we have, certain, in ISKCON there is some kirtan bands, kirtan groups, where they are all into playing the instruments very nicely and singing very melodiously, but character wise they're not really good devotees. All, completely not serious about the whole thing, just taking it very easy, and thinking that they're big celebrities and not following any rules and regulations, don't come for Mangal Arati, don't do anything. So in that way, there are many who do the kind of things. So kirtana, but not pure. Again, in the modes, in the mode of passion, ignorance, and some of them they also do to attract girls, do kirtan nicely so that I can attract some girls. I have seen this. I've seen this in the Vrindavan and Mayapur also. And the man was, the brahmachari, but not really brahmachari. He was like young man, and he was, playing mridanga, and he was looking at, Matajis, and then Matajis were like Hari Bol, like he was, he's, playing even more this thing, some complicated fancy beats, just to, you know get their attention. So this is crap. So that is under the modes, just doing some service, but actually they just want to enjoy the property of the spiritual master. See, those Matajis, whoever they are coming, they are coming to, at least ideally, they are coming for Prabhupada, and they're becoming devotees. So they are Krishna's property, they are the property of the spiritual master, I want to enjoy, you know. And if it's a wife, that's a different thing. At least it's lawful and something. Here, it's like getting as many girls under one's, this thing. So these kind of, frivolous nature. So this is under the modes. So it is impure devotional service. So these kind of things are there. So the many, and they will form a group. Like they'll form a band. They will have like sangha of themselves. Like they mix with people of their own kind. Birds of the same feather flock together. So that kind of thing. So that's why different kinds of groups form according to Swajati, uh, according to their own, inclinations. So that's why there are different groups. It's not that exactly Krishna wants that a parampara should break up into everybody who should not follow, and then a single person follows, and then many others don't follow. That's not Krishna's will. But when he sees those symptoms manifest, then he will separate them. And this is explained in the 12th, this same chapter, 12th verse. If you go to the 12th verse, धान्य राशि मापे जयछे पातना सहिते पश्चाते पातना उड़ाया samskara करते. Paddy is mixed with straw at first, and then one must fan it to separate the paddy from the straw. So the separation of the paddy and the straw, if you know how rice is produced and then separated from the husk, so we'll see, so separation has to happen. For the useful part is the rice paddy, and then the husk is the useless part. So in that way they're both separated. So this separation process Krishna does, and he puts the sincere ones separate from the non-sincere ones. And how does that happen? Krishna influences the mind of those who are not sincere to go away from the sincere. By finding some fault or whatever it is, they will go away. They will find fault with the sincere and they'll go away. And that is also Krishna's way of separating the paddy from the husk. And in this way, everybody has their own. Now there are so many, institutions and societies, even under Hare Krishna. Why? We are supposed to be the unifying factor. Prabhupada many times said, "Oh, United Nations will fail if they don't take to Krishna consciousness." Now we took to Krishna consciousness, divided like anything. Why? Ācārya mat jay সেই মত সার তারে লঙ্ঘি চলে সেইটা অসার তারা আজ্ঞা লঙ্ঘি চলে সেই তো আসার. So some of the this is now 12:9 first. কেহট আচার্য আজ্ঞা কেহট স্বতন্ত্র স্বমত কল্পনা করে দৈব পরতন্ত্র. Some of the disciples strictly accepted the orders of the Ācārya and others deviated, independently concocting their own opinions under the spell of Daivi Maya. Purport. This verse describes the beginning of a schism. Breakup. When disciples do not stick to the principle of accepting the order of their spiritual master, immediately there are two opinions. Any opinion different from the opinion of the spiritual master is useless. One cannot infiltrate materially concocted ideas into spiritual advancement, that is deviation. There is no scope for adjusting spiritual advancement to material ideas. See that? Very important. Any opinion different from the opinion of the spiritual master is useless. One cannot infiltrate materially concocted ideas into spiritual advancement. Now, some people may say, "Oh, this is dogmatic. You're blind followers." Let them follow and let them say that, as if they have eyes. They are blind. Ajnana timirandhasya jnananjana shanakya. The spiritual master is opening our eyes, and if we are following him, that is called blind following. And they are following somebody who is blind, and they are also blind. Blind leading the blind, and they are the woken up, awakened community of the world. No, so we don't care for their stupid judgment. Who are they to judge? They are not qualified. If an unqualified judge comes and judges something, who cares about his judgment? Who cares? Get lost. No, nobody cares about your judgment. Krishna, Guru. This is Prabhupada said, "I care for the opinion of my Guru Maharaj and Krishna. I don't care for the world." Not that he does not care for the world. He wants to help them, but not according to their understanding of what help is. No, they don't even know what help is. So that's why they cannot appreciate the activities of a pure devotee, because they don't understand where he's coming from even. They don't understand the platform he's on and the help that he wants to render. They don't even know what help they need. This is the position of the world. So they are completely incapable of judging anything properly. Only a pure devotee and Krishna can judge properly everything. 12:10. Ācārya mat jay she mat sar tara ajna loghi chale sheita asar. The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master immediately becomes useless. What is this active principle? So, like medicine also has active principle, active ingredients of the medicine, or any formulation. Active principle is the thing. Like in our body, the active principle is the soul. The soul leaves, then the entire functions of the body, intelligence, mind, everything is gone. No more. We cannot see those. We are only seeing all of those because the active principle is the soul inside. So we should know what is active principle and everything. So in spiritual life, active principle is the order of the spiritual master. And as long as we keep to that, spiritual life is very joyful. It is very fresh all the time. It is we have this experience of anandam buddhivardhanam, increasing happiness in spiritual life, brahma saukyam to anandam. We will have access to these things. But as soon as we give up the order of the spiritual master, then we will feel hackneyed, we will feel lost, we feel stagnation, distaste, frustration, these things, and general lack of enthusiasm, So these things are symptoms of a person who is not taking up the order of the spiritual master strongly. Huh? I think I've shown this many times. So Srimad Bhagavatam 10:80-42. If we go, Sandipani Muni is telling Krishna and Sudama that, I am very pleased with you, and he is the spiritual master, by the way. Tushtoham bho dvijashreshthah satyah santu manorathah chandam syayatayamani bhavantviha paratracha. You boys are first class brahmanas, and I am satisfied with you. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may the Vedic mantras you have learned never lose their meaning for you in this world or the next. Yatayamam means stale. Yatayamam gatarasam putam paryushitam chayat. 17:10 of Bhagavad Gita. If you see in the foods of the mode of ignorance, this is the food in the mode of ignorance. यातयामं गतरसं पूति पर्युषितं च यत् उच्छिष्टम् अपि चामेध्यं भोजनं तामसप्रियम्. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Of course, this doesn't apply to prasadam, but you see, food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food and which is tasteless. Yatayamam, gatarasam. Rasam means taste. Gatarasam means all taste has left the food. The taste has left the food. Tasteless. Because it is too old, too stale. So, yatayamam means stale, tasteless food. So, here the exact opposite is used. Instead of yatayama, ayatayamani. So, it will never become stale. Chandamsi. Chandamsi means all these, these the shlokas, the Vedic shlokas. Okay, everything in Vedas, all the knowledge is in the form of shlokas. And shlokas actually, technically, it's not the right word, but verses, verses, prose, and all these things. So these shloka actually means only the 8 syllables. What is that? Anushtup chanda. Shloka actually means only that, in the strict sense of the term. Although it is generally used for everything, but actually shloka also only means anushtup chanda, anushtup variety, which is 8 syllables. Like, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Praja, Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoviti Tattva. Most of the Bhagavad Gita verses are in the Anushtup and Trishtup, which is 11, which is like न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भवितावान भूयः. So that verse 220, that is 11 syllables. So that is Trishtup Chanda. Among Trishtup also there is subdivisions. So Anushtup is 8. So they are actually called shloka by strict sense of the term, but sometimes it is loosely used shloka for everything. Anyway, so they are referred to in the chanda. Chanda means meter of chanting. So all these shlokas have meters. So anyway, all these teachings, chandamsi ayata yamani, they will never become stale or tasteless for you. They will always remain fresh and giving you newer and newer taste. Bhavantvya paratracha, and both in this world and the next. See, in the purport, not by Prabhupada, but it makes sense. Cooked food left sitting for 3 hours is called yatayama, indicating that it has lost its taste. And similarly, if a devotee does not remain fixed in Krishna consciousness, the transcendental knowledge that once inspired him on the spiritual path will lose its taste or meaning for him. Thus, Sandipani Muni blesses his disciples that the Vedic mantras which reveal the absolute truth will never lose their meaning for them, but will remain ever fresh in their minds. So I know one devotee, so-called senior, who has left us now, who has his own sangha, thanks to Hare Kṛṣṇa, the will of providence, will of Krishna. He used to say like this, that, he told it as if it was that's the normal way things are. He said, in the beginning, Krishna consciousness is very interesting, you're curious about many things and you're like willing to know And then when you read, you will find everything interesting. But after you come to a certain point, like 4 or 5 years into the movement, and you kind of know the philosophy, everything, kind of know the principles, okay, what to do, kind of, you come to that stage, and then it will become a stagnation. It will not be like this thing. And he mentioned that not once, not twice, many, many times. And I could understand, why he's saying that, because for me, it was not like that. By Vaishnava's mercy, it was always interesting. Krishna consciousness. Now it has been, so what, 20 years since the first book I received. I purchased the book in 2003, Bhagavad Gita. Now it's 2023. End of 2023 will be 20 years. So 19 years. Always it is interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So, and I know that that devotee, he doesn't read at all. He doesn't read. And no wonder it is, of course, it is stagnant. So when we think, okay, we kind of know everything, when we become like that, and we don't take the words of Guru seriously, and don't read, and don't really follow. He was kind of following officially, externally, but it will crumble. This is the thing about spiritual life. If the core is not strengthened, externally we may follow and follow, but you see, crumble. Now he left us. He left a few years ago, actually 5 years ago. But he was there for what, 30 years almost in this movement, and he left. How come? So people get to ask, how come even 30 years devotees are living? What is this? How come Maya is so strong? Or is the temple correct or not? Because 30-year devotee is living means something is wrong. So they don't see, you cannot consider the time only. What is the quality of that time? What kind of quality of 30 years was that? Never read Prabhupada's book. What kind of quality is that? I can spend hundreds of years like that. Nothing will change. Only if I can do hundreds of millions of lives like that. Nothing will change. What is said in that verse 8:15? Bahu janma kore jodi shravana kirtan tabu tana paya Krishna pade premadhan. Adi 8:15. What is that? It said that even if we chant the holy name for millions of lifetimes, many, many lifetimes, nothing is going to change if we commit offenses. So, 8:16, sorry. Yeah, 8:16. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. Don't be dreaming that, okay, after this life, we're all going back. Despite all kinds of material desires in my heart, I will go back. Because Prabhupada said, no, going back, back to Godhead. No, no, no. We go back to doghead. As I said that day, that Bharat Maharaj, he went to deer head. Next life, deer. Then he was like, oh dear. That was his case. So we will also be like that. Instead of oh God, we will become oh dog. We will become. If we don't chant properly, if we don't take to Krishna consciousness seriously, then next life will be horrible. We can be sure of that. So we should know these things. What I was saying, so he was not chanting, he was not, he was chanting also, always sleeps during the whole chanting session. Never was serious in his chanting. And whatever wakeful chanting he does, he used to, watch TV and, talk here, talk there, all gossip, and, never really. So we can see, eventually he left. So when the core activities are not taken with all seriousness, they will crumble. Like our bones are the hardest parts of our body, right? But if the bone is not strong with calcium, enough calcium intake and enough sunlight and all that, then what will happen? The bones may look hard, but they'll become brittle, and little bit hit a fracture, something little bit fracture. So That is because no strength inside. They look, hey, bone, how can a bone break for such a small thing? Well, if the bone is not strong, it will break. So similarly, how can a devotee for break after 30 years? Or, no, he can break. If he's brittle, he will break. So this is because Chandamsi it become Yatayamam for them. Here Ayatayamani, but for them it is like stale. Oh, he used to say many times. Oh, in the beginning it's very enthusiastic and very exciting, and after that it will become like plateaued. And he used to explain as if that is the normal way it should go. He did not say that if you're not serious then this will happen, it will plateau. No, no, no. He said Krishna consciousness is like this. That's how he used to explain. That was his understanding. What to do? Unfortunate. Okay, a little bit more and then we'll stop. असारेर नामे इहा नाहि प्रयोजन भेद जानि बारे करी एकत्र गणन. There is no need to name those who are useless. I have mentioned them only to distinguish them from the useful devotees. So there are useful devotees and useless devotees. Useless devotees are those who don't take to the order. The namesake devotee, Kalichela. माथा नेड़ा कपनी पड़ा तिलक ना के गालाय माला देखते वैष्णवेर माथा आसले शाक्त काजेर बेला सहज भजन करछे ना मामो संगे लये परेर बाला. This is the rascal, so-called Vaishnav. Everything tip top, shaven head, big tilak from here until back, huh? And then ironed clothes, kanthimala, ironed bead bag, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And then inside activity, all nonsense materialistic activity. Show devotees. Yeah. They'll be good for photo shoot devotees. If you take a photo, they'll look like pakka devotees. You talk to them, they look like idiots. They'll sound like idiots. But look, photo, very good. If you want good photos, you can take their photos. So these are all useless devotees. धान्य राशि मापे जैसे पातना सहिते पश्चाते पातना उड़ाया संस्कार करिते. Paddy is mixed with straw at first, and one must fan it to separate the paddy from the straw. Purport. This analogy given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is very appropriate. In the case of the Gaudiya Mutt members, one can apply a similar process. There are many disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but to judge who is actually his disciple, to divide the useful from the useless, one must measure the activities of such disciples in executing the will of the spiritual master. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tried his best to spread the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to countries outside India. When he was present, he patronized the disciples to go outside India to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But they were unsuccessful because within their minds, they were not actually serious about preaching his cult in foreign countries. They simply wanted to take credit for having gone to foreign lands and utilize this recognition in India by advertising themselves as repatriated preachers. Many Swamis have adopted this hypocritical means of preaching for the last 80 years or more, but no one could preach the real cult of Krishna consciousness all over the world. They merely came back to India falsely advertising that they had converted all the foreigners to the ideas of Vedanta or Krishna consciousness, and then they collected funds in India and lived satisfied lives of material comfort. Now, there was some, even Vivekananda, Mayavadi of course, he was also hailed as a great ambassador of India, Indian culture, religion, Sanatan Dharma, and he went in 1893 to that World Parliament of Religions, and he spoke, and he received some 10 minutes of applause from the people. And after that, what happened? What happened after that? Not a single person became devotee until now. They are known as Murgi Mission. They eat chicken. All these sannyasis of Ramakrishna Mutt eat chicken. This is the nonsense he perpetrated. No philosophy from the Bhagavad Gita at all. Completely antagonistic to Bhagavad Gita philosophy. And many Indians, Hindus, right? Just few days ago, I had one couple. They came to the temple, and the lady was running her mouth actually a lot, as if she's like very advanced spiritually. I knew this would be a problem, this lady. And then the husband was a bit more silent in the beginning, and then she, talked as if she's like, one very great sadhu. Then finally she said, Vivekananda is my guru, is my inspiration. Then I knew, okay. Then I had to. I was not rude still. When I said, I just asked her. So, oh, okay. So, what is his teachings? So she said, he teaches many things. Okay. So, what is the aim of life according to him? Like, what you do, what you do? Since he is a guru, you should be knowing. So, what is the aim of life? He ultimately liberation. But of course, at different stages, he had different instructions to different kinds of people. I said, okay. I said, I also read his books when I was a teenager, and his philosophy is Yatamat Tathapat. Huh? As many ways as you can conceive of, that many ways, all are correct because they'll all reach the same goal. So you can do whatever you want. Ultimately, you will reach the same destination. And he also said things, very controversial, nonsense things, like, when he went to America, he actually ate meat. That so called World Parliament of Religions, they expected him to be a vegetarian. He ate meat there, pork. She said, yes, actually, sometimes, it is actually a sannyasi's duty that they have to accept whatever is given in their bowl. I said, if I give shit, he will eat. Will he eat shit? Huh? And he said, oh no, how can you say like that? Then how? Then if I cannot say stool, then how can you allow the meat to be put there? Then she said, oh, of course they should know what to put. How can they put stool? How can they put shit inside? I said, so they should know that they cannot put meat. And if they do not know, then he must explain to them. Oh, you have put meat? What to do? Thank you. That is not Swamiji. Rascal. Swami means master who can control his senses. Yeah. This is not Swami. He wants to eat meat. That's why I cannot tell the rascals who are giving meat. Actually, they are not rascals. He is rascal. If they are told, they will put proper things. So anyway, and she admitted, yes, the sannyasis also eat meat, but so what is the point now? What are you defending? You're defending somebody. Krishna says, Patram, you cannot eat anything first of all without being offered to Krishna. Otherwise, it is contaminated food. And he is eating completely meat, at least not even vegetarian, and he is a great preacher of Sanatana Dharma. What are you talking? I started on the case, and he said, I told, instead of building temples, you should have football fields. Better. Yes, actually, that he meant for younger people because you have to have a strong body, to carry out spiritual duties also, you need a strong body. Okay, did Krishna say that? You can have a strong body without that. I mean, Bhima had a very strong body. He did not have football field. Okay? So, and Arjuna, all of them, any warrior, any Kshatriya will have a naturally very built body. He did not deny that. Okay, that is there. But instead of temple, this one, what are you saying? Huh? Is his teaching coinciding with Krishna consciousness? No. So how can you support? No, but he is a great guru. Guru means who repeats the word of Krishna. Krishna is a Jagat Guru. Okay, he is a guru for everyone, right? And whoever repeats his word, he is also guru. If somebody speaks something else, he is a rascal. Then they got very agitated. How can you say Vivekananda is rascal? What is this? Okay, enough. I think we have had enough of this discussion. We will go. So please go. Please go. If you cannot understand, I am talking to you. Bhagavad Gita, you completely reject and accept somebody just because you like him for what? As if you are the judge. They have to speak according to Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is the judge. Who is right and who is wrong? You have to follow whoever repeats the word of Krishna. Otherwise, you can go your own path. And they left. Yeah. So he went and spoke some parliament of religions. After that, what happened? Who became a great devotee? Who became any interested in Sanatana Dharma? Nobody. The other day, I was having a conversation with another person who was calling me from America. His idea was also that, even if Art of Living or this or Isha Yoga is a Sadguru, whatever, I saw your video, you said he's rascal. Okay, I understand what you're saying, I don't deny. But honestly, he's also bringing some people at least to Vaishnav, not Vaishnavism, but some, at least little bit somewhere, he's making some contact with Sanatan Dharma. So that is also on service. So why should we, once they bring the people into the ideas of Sanatan Dharma, whatever, then you can make them devotees. You can carry forward from there. So is it not a good starting? As in rubbish you're talking. They are actually polluting the whole field. If people are exposed to the real thing, people don't have to be misled in so many ways. If everybody speaks according to Bhagavad Gita, according to the parampara, according to the proper Vaishnava conclusion, then proper presentation. Now you're saying you're inviting, they're inviting them into this Sanatan Dharma field, and eventually they will meet higher and higher and higher and come to Vaishnavism in the end. Fine, but why are you disturbing them? Like India is full of all kinds of thought processes, right? There is impersonalists, there is personalists, there is demigod worshippers, there are so-called karma yogis. They call themselves karma yogis. They think work is worship, like this Vivekananda nonsense. So then these kinds of things are happening, and India is already a mess to deal with. You preach to an Indian, practically wasting your time. Practically wasting your time. He is not interested. Because why? He knows too much about everything until he actually doesn't know about anything. That is India. Indian. Typical Indian. Yes, I know. What do you know? Well, I know. Okay, tell me one shloka of Bhagavad Gita. No, that is all bookish knowledge. You only know some parrot-like recitation of shlokas, but you don't have any real understanding of the application of those principles. Are? So you know the application of principles without even starting to read the Bhagavad Gita. But after I have read Bhagavad Gita many times, I don't know the practical application of those principles. Just because I have memorized the verse, therefore I do not know Bhagavad Gita. Because you haven't even seen a verse of Bhagavad Gita, therefore you actually are following the real Bhagavad Gita. Is it? Is that what I'm supposed to understand? Rascal. So these kind of people always come and argue. So we will smash them. We will smash them until they give up the argument. I will never give up. YouTube comments also many ways. Even now there are people commenting on the Gaur Gopal. Until today also I replied to one comment. He was also saying same thing. You're a parrot like chanting. You don't know. Okay, you know, right? Tell me actually what is to be. What is the aim of life? Or what is the correct representation of Bhagavad Gita? Can you tell me? You don't know. You have not even touched the book, and you are telling me, and as if you have understood the essence of all religion without even touching a book of Bhagavad Gita. And he said, this is all for what is that? Um, Fools who want to cling on to something. They would need some faith, but who actually understand the actual value of life. They can understand things. They don't need to like read a book and understand. I said, there goes your nonsense, rascal, rascaldom. You are saying Krishna's Bhagavad Gita is a book for fools. You are the intelligent man who does not understand and does not need Bhagavad Gita. Rascal, you have showed. I will keep this comment. I told him. In fact, one of the man, he was arguing with me similarly along similar lines. He said, please don't remove this comment. Delete this comment. And make your. Then I said, I will never delete the comments on my videos. Every single hate comment, I will keep it there. I like it. Okay? I like when you people hate me. Because I want to agitate your minds. And I'm not going to delete those comments to make myself look good. No. I look good with those hate comments. And thank you for giving those hate comments so everybody can see how much of a fool you are. I want to put it on display until the YouTube lasts. Everybody will see you and how foolish you are. I want to exhibit that. You think that you have made me look like a fool, and therefore I should not be deleting the comment. And as if you are going to defeat me, I will never accept defeat. I will reply to every single comment of yours. I will smash you to the ground, and then people will see how much of real people who actually have some brains. They will see how much of a fool you are. Now, why am I getting into these things, these conversations? I'm not interested in winning or losing with these people. But Krishna's message we must protect. I said to this last guy, this video title is about Bhagavad Gita. You have not read Bhagavad Gita. You have zero right to comment on this video. You have none of your business. Mind your own way and get lost. If you're coming here, then this is the answer. You have to quote from the Bhagavad Gita. If you say that is bookish knowledge, then get lost. No, why are you here? Why are you commenting on a video about Bhagavad Gita and then saying that Bhagavad Gita is not of use? So mind your own business. Go to hell. Don't come and comment on something which you don't know nothing about. Here, somebody is saying the wisest man is he who knows nothing. It's not like that. Then that means the children must be the wisest people. Why are you sending them to school? Huh? Don't send them to school, no. Let them be the professors. You learn from them. He's speaking, you learn from them. Hmm? Papa, mama, and you learn from them. They know nothing. They're fools. Why they should be the wisest, no? You learn from them. Why are you sending them to school? You know better than them. These quotes all don't make any damn sense. Huh? Don't bring this rubbish. So anyway, many Swamis have adopted this hypocritical means of preaching for the last 80 years or more, but no one could preach the real cult of Krishna consciousness all over the world. They merely came back to India falsely advertising that they had converted all the foreigners to the ideas of Vedanta or Krishna consciousness, and then they collected funds in India and lived satisfied lives of material comfort. As one fans paddy to separate the real paddy from useless straw, by accepting the criterion recommended by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, one can very easily understand who is a genuine world preacher and who is useless. Huh? So, I think we might. Okay, I think this is a good segue or thing to stop here. So the names of these followers and all, um, we will read in the next session. So we'll stop it here because this is anyway a good point to end because these are all important teachings. Okay, so let's see any questions or comments. If you have any questions, so please post them quickly because I might end live stream very soon. He abducted Vedavati in the form of Chaya Sita Mata. No, Vedavati was Sita Mata in her previous life. Vedavati. She was in the Himalayas and he saw her beauty and he touched her and then she, gave up her body and then she became Sita in the next life. But anyway, the Kurma Puran actually states what exactly happened. Ryan Toon. Rewinding to the beginning, but thank you. Oh. Okay. Prabhu, please give class on karma so that we'll be careful or we can't show anger on someone who put me to suffer. You read Prabhupada's books, please. Don't ask me to give a class on karma. You please read Prabhupada's books, all the answers will be there. Deepthi Ubale. Please accept my humble obeisances. The way you are conveying the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is something contradictory to philosophy of humility. So, humility does not mean that, oh, you're nice, I'm nice, everybody's nice. We'll all go back to Godhead. You're doing that, that's fine. I'm doing this, that's fine. That's not humility. Humility means, humility means, okay, that we have to be humble to Krishna. If anybody comes, you see Prabhupada, I think you don't have much experience of what Prabhupada said about, say, Vivekananda or any of these gurus. How heavily he criticized, even publicly, when people challenged when in the question and answer sessions, when people come and challenge with, challenge Prabhupada with some stupid philosophy, he completely puts them down. You have to listen to Prabhupada's lectures. Now, humility does not mean like, okay, when Jagai and Madhai, injured Nityananda Prabhu, what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? Hare Krishna, thank you Jagai Madhai for beating Nityananda Prabhu, but please become devotees. No, came with Sudarshan Chakra. He is teaching us humbleness is not to be exhibited in front of rascals. No, no, no. We have to be humble to Krishna. And if somebody is attacking Krishna or the spiritual master Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and if you are humble to that person, it automatically means you are not humble to Krishna. We are becoming party to such. You think Hanuman was humble in front of Ravan? Ravan was sitting. Hanuman made his tail so big that he sat on the tail. It was higher than Ravan's seat. Now, is that actually pride? No. He is saying that I am just an insignificant messenger of Ram, and I am higher than you. Just see who Ram is. Okay, watch out. That's the message he wanted to convey. That's no pride. Hanuman did not have any pride. He was absolutely humble. That is Dut. That is real humility. He was humble to Ram, not to Ravan. So we must understand what we have to be humble to our Guru and Krishna and the entire parampara, the devotees. But we should be like the lion outside. A lamb inside the temple and a lion outside in the preaching work. Not that, a lamb outside and a lion inside the temple, roaring at all the devotees and creating offenses. That's not humility. So you should understand. You should not make this mistake. You should understand what actual humility is. Yeah. Many people mistake this thing. Humility is when I am offended, yeah, I should be humble. But when Krishna is offended, if I am still humble, that's not humility. That is actually, you're humble to the wrong person. And you're actually offensive to Krishna, offensive to our parampara, offensive to Guru. So you need to understand this. So sometimes people don't like when we put the point blunt and straightforward. But points have to be put sometimes like that. And, otherwise, you'll never get it. The people don't get it. Okay. But I appreciate you commenting this because now at least you can know and others also can know what is actual humility. Now, Prabhu, why are modern day Indians so abusive compared to our ancestors? No, this has been going on since time immemorial. Not just, of course, Kali Yuga is progressing and people will become more and more antagonistic. See, how will they respect our culture when we are taught nothing about our culture? We are taught only that our culture is very outdated and olden style, like things like caste system were there and sati system were there and all these things were there. Oh, this is all devilish. So how can we are taught that from our childhood without understanding the real imports of these customs. And of course, yes, those was abused. Those varnashram system was abused and the sati right was abused. It was not to be forced on any girl. So the girls used to be so chaste, the wives used to be so chaste to the husband that they voluntarily wanted to die in the fire with the husband. But by forcing a girl, that is not a right thing to do. Yes, it was abused. But the answer is not to remove the entire system, but to rectify the system. But that was not done. Anyway, we were taught that, oh, this is all low class culture. The British actually gave us real culture. That is what we were taught. And our whole education system is based on that Western worldview. And therefore, we naturally accept Western ideas. And over time, generation after generation, we are learning things. We are fed. The indoctrination that we're fed is that Indian culture is very old style. People, I mean, Indians, they're not proud about wearing their own dress, saris, dhotis. They're giving up all of that. At least sometimes women wear some saris. That also mostly they don't. Sometimes. The men dhotis, oh forget it. Even temples anywhere, at least women sometimes wear saris and they come. Men dhotis, oh very very rare. They feel, oh this is like oh I'm not comfortable. Maybe the dhoti will fall off. What will happen? Are how difficult it is to tie a dhoti. But they are not. I mean, even to that extent, forget about anything else. Even wearing a simple dhoti, they can't. They think it is like not so high class dress. So there's no um, pride in our own culture because it's completely replaced, and that was by design. It was done by design. That was the British whole idea, and they were successful. And therefore, of course, we can expect the newer generation to become more antagonistic, unless there is a revival of thinking again. Hey, oh, come on, what is happening? At least the last few years, I'm seeing Indians are taking a little more interest in our culture, but they have to be properly guided. Otherwise, they will be again misled. Because in India, there are all kinds of customs, all kinds of things are there. Proper, real Vaishnava philosophy is not being taught. The actual quote is wisest man is he who knows nothing. He who knows he knows nothing. Yeah, that is wise. Yes, now you're right. That is actually a verse. Yasya matam tasya matam. Matam yasya navedasaha. Avijñatam vijanatam vijñatam avijanatam. When he knows nothing, then yes, he's right. And then he will actually inquire to know. That is the beginning of, you know. So that is correct. Here, 1087:13. See this purport. Yasyamatam tasyamatam matam yasya navedasah avijñatam vijanatam vijñatam avijanatam. Whoever denies having any opinion of his own about the supreme truth is correct in his opinion. Whoever denies having an opinion, he is correct in his opinion. Whereas one who has his own opinion about the supreme does not know him. He is unknown to those who claim to know him, and he can only be known by those who do not claim to know him. Kena Upanishad. So that is correct. You must be fool in the front of spiritual master. Yes, this is correct. Now, Vrajageshwar is sharing a conversation of Prabhupada. Reporter, Your Divine Grace, this is actually not very relevant to the press conference, but have you ever met people like the Sai Baba or Bala Yogeshwar or... Then Prabhupada says, Why shall I meet these nonsense? Why shall I meet? What is the business? Fools and rascals may meet them. Why shall I meet? What can I get from them? What is their special value? Huh. Then tell me, why shall I meet? What is the business I've got to meet him? You're suggesting? No. This is a glimpse. If you do not know what Prabhupada's preaching style is, if you think he's not humble, if you think I am not humble, wait till you hear Prabhupada say, I will kick you on your face. Prabhupada said that, okay? Prabhupada said, I'll kick you on your face. You talk nonsense. So, I mean, a devotee is not a coward. He has to be absolutely brave. Arjuna was a great fighter. Hanuman was a great fighter. That is devotee. If you love the Lord, fight for him. Just like, I mean, if a husband loves his wife and somebody is, trying to attack his wife, what will you do? What will you do? Oh, thank you for attacking my wife. Is that husband? Is that love? If he really has any affection for his wife, he will do anything to save her. Similarly, to save the honor of Krishna, to protect, I mean, to defend the honor of Krishna and the Guru, a devotee will do anything. Don't mess around with a real devotee, and think that he will be sadhu. No, sometimes they say when we are distributing books, some rascal will come and put his useless opinions and start a fight, and then when we say our points, and then he still doesn't accept. And then of course we will become angry. Of course we will become angry. And then says, oh, you see, you become angry. What kind of sadhu you are? I said, because I'm sadhu, that's why I got angry. Sadhu should get angry. Otherwise, he's not sadhu. If somebody is offending Krishna, devotee must get angry. Otherwise, where is the love for Krishna? I said, okay, do you pray to Hanuman? Yes, yes, yes. Hanuman Chalisa, I know. Okay, then why do you pray? Hanuman was so angry, he burnt up Lanka. At least I did not burn you, no? You are still alive. He burnt Lanka. Yeah, how many people he killed? So angry he was. Why do you worship him? You should not know. He's not a sadhu, no? No, 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 no. They don't have an answer. That's why, please keep quiet. Okay? Humility means for the Lord. Any rascal tries to offend the Lord, Hanuman is the example. Okay? I am smarta, but I enjoy these classes. To become devotee, when you are going to become devotee, you have to surrender. You have to surrender to the process. You should not enjoy the process. You should surrender to the process. Then the Krishna will give more enjoyment. Why after freedom situations has not solved? They will never be solved. There's no real freedom. It's a hallucination. Could you please tell me the name of the application you use? It is called Pocket Vedas app on the iPad. It is also there on Android. Pocket Vedas. Are you, what is this? Are you one of the few Brahmanas following Varna Dharma? Yeah. And I asked him, we follow this. I am learning boxing and gun shooting for self defense. So are you chanting? Are you chanting? So you should defend your soul, Soul is going to hell. So defend, the self defense will defend your body to an extent. What is the use of defending body which is serving a soul which is misled? Defend your soul by chanting Hare Krishna. Rajagishwar Prabhu, there are, so he's quoting from Prabhupada. There are some foolish persons who are misled by another imitation Ramakrishna, you see. But those who are intelligent, this rascal Ramakrishna said that I am the same Rama and Krishna. Another rascal. Another rascal believed, oh, he's Rama and Krishna. Just because people say they believe without checking anything. This is the problem with humble Hindus. Hindus are so humble, anything goes. Oh, he's Ramakrishna. Okay, put his picture in the altar. Hey, Baba. Oh, put. Humble. Yeah, if it's really something powerful, if I say something, anything bad happens, oh, I put a picture, put flower. This is humble Hindus. Useless, useless rascals, bums of the highest order. Why? And don't check anything with Shastra. Well, Shastra says he is God or not, no checking. They are saying he's God. There's some miracle happened at him, something. Put picture, put the picture. That Shirdi Sai Baba, where he came from. He's a Muslim man. He's a Muslim mendicant. And now every Indian house will have Sai Baba. Basically, they worship a Muslim man. And they're saying, oh, he's God. Make up some stories. You know? Where in the Shastra says he's God? Where? Show me. Show me a verse from the Shastra saying that Sai Baba is God. I will accept. I will accept. Nobody can show. Uh, This is humble Hindus. Because why? We don't want to fight, no? We are very tolerant. Anything goes. That is actually not a good virtue. That is foolishness. You don't know what to do. You surrender to everything because you have nothing to stand for. You don't stand for anything. If you know the truth, you will stand for it. You will fight the untruth, the injustice. You will fight it. People are cheating people wholesale. And how can I keep quiet with a straight face, humbly, Hare Krishna? I cannot do that. That's nonsense. That's not being of service to the public or to the population at all. They have to be enlightened what is right and what is wrong. And we have to strongly preach. I'm sorry, I mean, we don't subscribe to this so-called humility, which is, a show of humility. Actually, it is a cowardice. It is cowardice. It's not humility. I do Sahastra Mantra Japa until my Upanayanam. Anyway, I don't know, you are chanting, you're not chanting anything. You better chant Hare Krishna and read some books, Prabhupada books. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. Okay. Even though he doesn't consider Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. So that is nonsense. He's not Ācārya, he's a rascal. I mean, he drinks alcohol. What kind of nonsense Ācārya is that? Sai Baba is Brahman realized and that's why he has potency, but I like what you're saying. He is no realized. He's an idiot. I'm telling you straight, face to face. He is homosexual also. I mean, not, I don't know which Sai Baba you're talking. I'm talking about the later one. The before one, Brahman realized, well, show me how he's Brahman realized. First of all, you have to follow what our Shastra says, our Vedas say. Okay? You don't even know Sai Baba. You don't speculate that he's Brahman realized. You don't know him. Okay? Krishna will know him. But we can know from where he is not coming from any parampara, therefore he's bogus. Okay? We may be a moralist or whatever, we don't care. But he cannot be a guru. We cannot put him on the altar, bigger picture than Krishna. I have seen many, many houses. I have seen. Nonsense. Why Sai Baba? There is no reference in the Shastras for Ramakrishna. He is not Paramahamsa. He is the word. What is that word? What is that bird? Crow. Crow. What is it? Vayasam. Parama Vayasam. That is. Your sarcasm smashes them even better than your anger. Well, talking about the first Sai Baba. You don't know him. Please don't speculate. Okay? He's not Brahman realized nothing. Don't speculate. We don't even know much about him. He himself don't know he was God. After he passed away, people made him God. There's a whole story about it. It's not good to insult people. Well, it's not good to insult God. Okay? To speak about Brahman realization or whoever it is, okay? You're first of all insulting God. To realize him is so easy that whoever, whatever, every Tom, Dick and Harry is Brahman realized or Paramatma or Bhagwan realized. Don't insult God. We're talking about insulting people. And we are just calling a spade a spade. If he's not God, I'm saying he's not God. That's it. And he's not Guru, nothing. Okay? That's what I'm saying. You are saying something else. You are insulting God. Don't do that. You go and read first Bhagavad Gita properly. Okay? Thank you very much. He saw everybody with equal vision, that's why. How do you know? How do you know? He saw equal vision or not? They're making so many stories. Okay? The whole book is full of stories. How do you know which one is correct? Huh? First of all, first thing is he should have a sampradaya. Ye sampradaya vihinasche ye mantraste nishphala mataha. Okay? Without sampradaya, we cannot accept anybody as bona fide. That is the Shastric injunction. Don't go above Shastra. You don't know. I'll tell you something. Okay? Before we close it, finally we'll tell this. 1832. Okay, this is your position now. Actually, this is your position. These both verses, 1831 and 32, perfectly describe Hindus as a whole. Hindus. Who are Hindus? 1831 and 32. यया धर्मम अधर्मम च कार्यम चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी ayathavat. Yathavat means yathathatha. Yathavat means as it is. Ayathavat means not as it is. Change something. Now, imperfectly, you see. Ayathavat. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Yeah, when you cannot distinguish which is religion, which is religion, oh, that is also okay, this is also okay, then everything is okay, everything is okay. Then, like for example, just now somebody else commented that, I'm not presenting it in a humble way. Again, what is right is taken as wrong, and what is wrong is taken as right. So again, that's a Rajasic understanding. We should know, and I'll show you another verse after this. Now, 1832, Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate tamasa vrita sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhi saparthatamasi. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion. This is the point. This is Kali Yuga, especially Hindus. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction of Partha is in the mode of ignorance, tamasic. Purport. Intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working the opposite of the way it should. It accepts religions which are not actually religions and rejects actual religion. Men in ignorance understand a great soul to be a common man and accept a common man as a great soul. Hello, Namo Narayana, who is this? You are saying this. You are saying this. Accepting a common man as a great soul. This is what you're doing. Huh? They think truth to be untruth and accept untruth as truth. In all activities, they simply take the wrong path. Therefore, their intelligence is in the mode of ignorance. Huh? So you are quoting something I don't care about. What is this? Baba said, I am going to kill goat in mosque. He told Shama to ask Haji what he likes to eat, meat or goat or its testicles. This is from where? From Sai Satcharita, Shirdi Sai Baba. Hello. Brahman realized goat eater. Pagal ke na bole, chhagal ke na khaye. There is a Bengali proverb. What a goat will not eat and what a madman will not say. Hello, Brahman realized. Nice. Brahman realized goat. Nowadays, goat means that, no? Greatest of all time. Greatest, G, of, O, all, A, time, T. Then a feeble, weak goat was brought in the mosque for sacrificial killing. Baba asked for knife to kill the goat. I think we should make a video on Sai Baba. I will make. I will make it. Okay? These Indians don't know what they're doing. Hindus. Humble Hindus. Humble. We should be humble, no? Sai Baba. Now I'll show you something. This is very important. Before we close, I'm sorry, I'm taking more of time. Here. अर्चायामेव हरये पूजां यः श्रद्धये हते न तद्भक्तेषु चान्येषु सभक्तः प्राकृतः स्मृतः. Goat is actually for people addicted to meat eating. So you said he's Brahman realized, no? But he's addicted to meat eating. What kind of meat eating Brahman realized goat is he? Okay, so a devotee who faithfully engages in the worship of the deity in the temple but does not behave properly toward other devotees or people in general is called a Prakrita Bhakta, a materialistic devotee, and is considered to be in the lowest position. You know what is the meaning of does not behave properly toward other devotees and people in general? Like me, right? Criticizing them, saying they're rascals. I don't know how to behave. That's not the thing. Being humble in front of rascals is also not proper behavior. Anyway, let's read the Madhvacharya's commentary on this verse. It's a bit long. I'm sorry about that. But let's go through it and finish it. Okay? Srila Madhvacharya comments that one in the lowest stage of devotional service faithfully worships the deity in the temple but is not aware that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually all pervading. This same mentality can be seen in the Western countries where people commit all types of sinful activities in their homes and in the street, but then piously go to a church and pray to God for mercy. Huh? Actually, God is in our home, God is in the street, God is in our office, God is in the forest, God is everywhere, and therefore God should be worshipped everywhere by the process of devotional service at His lotus feet. As stated in verse 41 of this chapter, Khamvayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotim shisatvani disho drumadin saritsamudramscha hare shariram yatkim cha bhutam pranamedananyah. A devotee should not see anything as being separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Ether, fire, air, water, earth, sun, and other luminaries, all living beings and directions, trees and plants, the rivers and the oceans, whatever a devotee experiences, he should consider to be an expansion of Krishna. Thus, seeing everything that exists within creation as the body of the Supreme Lord Hari, the devotee should offer his sincere respects to the entire expansion of the Lord's body. This is the vision of the Mahabhagavad devotee of the Lord. Srila Madhvacharya states that a Madhyama Adhikari, a devotee in the intermediate stage, sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes, and therefore he offers his love to the Lord. Such a devotee is a sincere friend of other devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids the atheists. Nonetheless, Tadvashatvam Najanati Sarvasya Jagatopi tu. His realization of the all-pervading feature of the Supreme Lord is imperfect. Although he does have a general sense that everyone is ultimately meant to be a devotee of the Supreme Lord, and he tries to use everything in service of Krishna, aware that everything belongs to the Lord. He may be bewildered by association with atheistic men. Srila Madhvacharya states, Archayameva samsthitam Vishnum gyatva tad anyatra naiva janati yah puman. A Kanishta Adhikari has no idea that the Supreme Lord has the power to exist outside a church or temple. Furthermore, being puffed up by his own ceremonial worship, Atmano Bhakti Darpataha, a Kanishta Adhikari cannot imagine that anyone is more pious or religious than he, and is not even aware that other devotees are more advanced. Thus, he cannot understand the Madhyama or Uttama standard of devotional service, and sometimes, because of his false pride, he criticizes the more advanced devotees of the Lord, neglects them, or simply has no understanding of their exalted position as preachers or completely self-realized souls. Another symptom of the Kanishta Adhikari, who is this Namo Narayana? Please stop commenting and listen to the class. Okay, I'm telling a point for your this thing, for your enlightenment. Please, just listen. Don't keep on commenting and waste your time. Okay. Another symptom of the Kanishta Adhikari is that he is infatuated by the material qualifications of so-called great materialistic persons. This is also an example of him not behaving properly. He is infatuated by the material qualifications of so-called great materialistic persons. Having a bodily concept of life himself, he is attracted by material opulence and thus minimizes the position of Supreme Lord Vishnu. Such a Kanishta Adhikari, therefore, is disturbed if a second-class devotee criticizes the non-devotees of the Lord. This is what exactly I am saying. Is disturbed. Such a devotee, in the beginning stage, he is disturbed if a second-class devotee criticizes the non-devotees of the Lord. In the name of compassion or kindness, or maybe I would add humility as well, a Kanishta Adhikari approves of the non-devotional activities of such materialistic men. Hello, are you understanding this? All whoever has commented. It's very important. Because the Kanishta Adhikari is ignorant of the higher realms of devotional service and the unlimited transcendental bliss of Krishna consciousness, he sees devotional service merely as a religious aspect of life, but thinks that life has many enjoyable and worthwhile non-devotional aspects also. That devotional life is one of the aspects of life. That's his idea. Therefore, he becomes angry when second-class devotees who are experiencing that Krishna is everything criticize the non-devotees. Madhvacharya says that such a person, because of his rudimentary faith in Krishna, is considered a devotee, but he is bhakta adhama, a devotee on the lowest standard. If such materialistic devotees follow the rules and regulations of deity worship, they will gradually be elevated to a higher standard and eventually become pure devotees of the Lord, unless they commit offenses against other devotees, in which case their advancement will be checked. Srila Madhvacharya states, Tad bhaktanam upekshataha kuryur vishnavapi dvesham. Those who neglect or show indifference to the devotees of the Lord are to be considered offenders at the lotus feet of Vishnu. Similarly, those who disrespect the demigods will become bereft of devotional service and be forced to rotate again and again within the samsara. Now, of course, this is other things that are mentioned here, but you get the point, right? According to Srila Jiva Goswami, since a Kanishta Adhikari who cannot properly respect other devotees will certainly fail to offer respects to ordinary living entities who are not even devotees, a Kanishta Adhikari is useless for practical preaching work unless he comes to a higher platform of understanding. Srila Jiva Goswami says, Iyam cha shraddhana shastrarthavadharana jata. Because the Kanishta Adhikari's faith is not actually based on the statements of Vedic literature, he cannot understand the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within everyone's heart. You see, this is very important. Kanishta Adhikari's faith is not actually based on the statements of Vedic literature. His faith is on his own sentiment. You know, he is just having some blind faith. He's not fixed up. Therefore, he cannot actually manifest love of Godhead, nor can he understand the exalted position of the devotees of the Lord. Krishna is so glorious that Krishna's intimate associates must also be glorious. But this is unknown to a Kanishta Adhikari. Similarly, the essential qualification of a Vaishnava, which is to offer all respect to others, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari, is also conspicuous by its absence in a Kanishta Adhikari. If such a person, however, has the faith in Vedic literatures and tries to understand the statements of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, he will gradually be elevated to the second and first class stages of devotional service. So, of course, you can read the purport; it's very instructive purport. But these are the important points. Okay, five 15 and five 17. Yeah, we are not here to please the masses and let them fall to hell. We will expose. Let's show that verse, especially 5:17. कस्तं स्वयं तदभिज्ञो विपश्चिद् अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानं दृष्ट्वा पुनस्तं सगृणः कुबुद्धिं प्रयोजयेत् उत्पथगं यथान्दम्. If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned, merciful, and advanced in spiritual knowledge engage him in fruitive activity and thus further entangle him in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on his way to danger? How can he approve this method? No wise or kind man can allow this. Now, if a blind man is walking and then the car is approaching, I will shout at the blind man, "Hey, stop it!" I will shout. But I'm not shouting at the man. I'm shouting to save him. If he thinks, "Hey, why are you shouting at me?" you will get hit by the car. So, if people think that this shouting, that this angry face of mine is for, finding faults with them, no, I'm not interested. Why should I find faults? We find faults so that we correct them. We cannot see them going to their own peril, walking to their own peril by not improper understanding of everything. They will not going to gain any success. They will fail in their life, and next life they will have to take rebirth again. Is that better? Yeah, we can stay quiet. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. You're following some rascal. Dandavat Pranam. We can do that, but where you will go? Huh? Unless somebody is there to correct, who will correct? So somebody has to do it. And yeah, that is why it's called preaching is called thankless task. Nobody will thank you for it. They will say you are wrong. Oh, you should not be preaching like this. Nobody will thank you for it. But actually, he is doing the proper service. If somebody is blind man is going and hitting, I mean, he's getting hit by a car, and you will have to shout, "Hey, stop it, don't walk anymore." I have to say that. But is that anger towards the blind man? Not at all. It is the exact opposite. If I was really angry at a blind man, go ahead. I will not say anything. Go ahead. Okay. Yes, he died. So that is what I would say. Right? If I'm really angry, if somebody is actually killing the man, okay, that's what exactly what I want. Okay, done. Okay, good. He died. Right? So people don't understand what is actual anger, what is actual help. People don't understand. Shamyatam. Okay, you read Bhagavad Gita first, then you will understand something. Bhagavad Gita as it is, huh? Prabhupada's one, not some Vivekananda, some nonsense. Get Prabhupada's one and read. All right, so I think we'll stop here. जय श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय, अद्वैताचार्य की जय, ऋत्विक सिस्टम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण।